Hello everyone! Today I am playing what I think is the best deck in Standard right now. Maybe someone will perfect something and it'll rise to the top and perform consistently, but I think Sultai Midrange has consistently been the best performer so far, and more importantly, when I've actually played the decks, it's just felt the best to me. Since we don't have that much data, you kind of have to go on gut feelings sometimes. I waited until now to record with this because I've been slowly tweaking this list to get it exactly where I like it. I've seen a lot of more homogenized lists, but this is what has felt comfortable to me. So, premise of the deck, we are going to play value creatures, create small incremental advantages, and then eventually bury the opponent in it. We have, as we've seen a million times so far, the Wildgrowth Walker package with Merfolk Branchwalker and Jadelight Ranger. This card pretty much single-handedly gives you a great mono-red matchup, because you play it, and if they don't kill it, they kind of just lose. Like, this into... So, if I play a Wildgrowth Walker into a Jadelight Ranger, on turn 3, I have a 3/5, some-sized Jadelight Ranger, and I've gained 6. And, like, it hasn't really cost me that much. That's still only 2 cards. I still get to play my normal game plan. So, really difficult for them to come back from that. The reason we have blue in the deck is, of course, Hydroid Krasis. This card is insane. The initial list I copied had 3, and I quickly decided that that was wrong. We needed 4. This card is just beyond bonkers, and it's just honestly perfect in this deck. You want cards that gain life, generate card advantage, and can finish the game, and it is incredible at all of those. So, yep, I love this card. And the other blue reason for blue is Negate in the sideboard. Being able to have Negate really gives this deck an extra power-up, especially against, like, the Turbo Fog decks. Because against those types of strategies, Duress is great, and there's a reason I'm playing 4 of that one, but it's not really enough. Like, you shred their hand, and then they just top deck a Teferi and bury you, and you can't win the game. Whereas if I play Wildgrowth Walker into Jadelight Ranger, and then just sit with Negate up for the rest of the game, I feel very confident in my ability to win, because I am applying pressure and stopping them from doing something on their key turn. Other weird card choices, I went up to 3 Midnight Reaper and 3 Ravenous Chupacabra when the initial list only had 2 of each. This card is just so good in so many circumstances. Against any non-Settle the Wreckage sweeper, this card is your best friend, and in the black-green mirrors, it's just really good at making combat miserable for the opponent. You can pressure their planeswalkers, and they can't really afford to block, because you'll just be drawing a bunch of cards, so 3 has definitely felt better than 2, and I'm honestly closer to finding a way to go up to 4 than I am to going back down to 2. The other thing that I'm not as certain on is Ravenous Chupacabra. I went from 2 to 3, and I can see why you only want 2, because there are a lot of times when this is just kind of a clunky way to do what you want this effect for. Like, you might want a 3rd Vraska's Contempt instead. But what I really wanted was a kill spell that I could find off of Vivien Reid. I kept getting in situations where I really just needed to destroy a key creature rather than adding to my own board. And Vivien wasn't able to do that. I kept plussing and getting a pile of Merfolk Branchwalkers, and I just wasn't hitting enough. And so I went up to a 3rd Ravenous Chupacabra to be able to find answers more often. Finally, because of doing things like adding Midnight Reaper and going up to a 4th Hydroid Krasis, I cut 1 Find Finality. I have missed the Finality part occasionally, but we just don't need that much card advantage. Sometimes you needed more answer cards. And there was a Vraska Relic Seeker, but she was just kind of unimpressive. I kind of was more interested in playing Vivien almost every time I drew Vraska, so I cut her. Moving on to the sideboard, I have Duress and Negate as anti-control cards. Pretty straightforward. Cry of the Carnarium. This handles any small creature strategies. It's a little awkward to put 4 copies of a card in your sideboard towards a matchup that you don't see very often, but it single-handedly turned around White Weenie strategies so hard that I think it earns its place. Like, Game 1, that matchup is really hard. You can win, but it's not easy. Game 2, any White Weenie deck is just kind of trivial, and so it's kind of nice to have a free matchup just from having a pile of these excellent sweepers in your deck. Crushing Canopy. This card is really good against control decks and the Is It Drake's decks, because against control, they have a bunch of important enchantments like Search for Azcanta, and they tend, when they board in creatures, they tend to sideboard in flyers like Lyra or Niv Mizzet, and so this card is rarely going to be dead and is usually going to handle the things you need handled. And against the Is It Drake's deck, it handles all of their main deck threats, and they like to board in Search for Azcanta, and so this card just becomes perfect. It's awesome, and I love it. Vraska's Contempt, just an additional way to gain some life or handle problematic creatures and planeswalkers. I don't have a specific matchup in mind, but I kept finding individual matchups where I say, I wish I had 3 of this post-board. And finally, I made room for the second Carnage Tyrant. Last season, these types of decks were main decking like 3, and there's a reason for that. This card is just lights out in a lot of matchups, and so I really wanted access to a second one. I think that's all for the deck tech. I'll go ahead and get into some matches. Okay, getting right into it. I am playing the ranked best of 3 queue. You can play this deck in the best of 1. Its game 1 matchup is pretty solid, just because you have so many powerful cards. And it's excellent. But it's really much better in best of 3 because one of the primary draws to blue-black is you get such good sideboard cards. Okay. Branchwalker could be quite good. We need to hit another land to really curve out. We want to go Walker into double Branchwalker. But, these are really good at finding those. Teamer, okay. Okay, probably a Teamer Hadana's Climb deck, if I had to guess. Cool. No, that's not the card we wanted to play. This matchup can be kind of tough. They can kind of invalidate what you're doing on the ground by just getting a big creature with Hadana's Climb and then jumping it and smashing you for 1,000,000 damage. But Hydroid Krasis can block at least a little, and you're also decent at just killing all their stuff. Yep. Wish I could play against this deck once without them drawing this card, but... Okay. That's something, I guess. Okay, we're gonna want to draw something to do next turn. That is not it. Go ahead and smack them. And that's another reason this matchup is okay, because they kinda had their ideal start. They would have liked to hit a land last turn, but we're just mostly gonna race. Like, we've got a good board. We're at 24, they're at 15. If we hit, like, I don't know, a Jadelight Ranger to do this turn... Well, Spellbreaker, okay, sure. Not quite ready to flip Climb yet. This, by the way, is another matchup where Crushing Canopy is excellent, because we either get to blow up a Climb before it flips, or we get to force them to waste like their whole turn jumping a card with Hadana's, or with the flip side, the Winged Temple, and then we kill the creature in the air and just race very easily. Alright, so let's go ahead and play Branchwalker. I like the look of that. That does a similar thing to what I just talked about Crushing Canopy doing. Again, want to find a blue land for Hydroid Krasis, but I think this is too valuable of a resource to have access to. Oh boy. Sound for a breeding pool really does go on forever, doesn't it? They have access to a lot of mana, but they aren't applying like any real pressure yet. Even if they make this a 4/4, yeah, we still get to attack with our Walker. They want to... or I suppose what we'll probably do... Huh. They know about this, so this is where this gets a little complicated. I suppose we probably... just Contempt the Incubation Druid. We'll see if they have like a dive down. It'd be really annoying. I think this taps for any color? It does. And I'm just gonna ship with the Wildgrowth Walker. If they want to chump, that's whatever. Yep, so now they can't really afford to do this because it takes like their whole turn, and it only hits me for 8 anyway, and we're basically applying lethal. Like, even if they chump here, they're dead to these. Another hit on his climb, sure. Throw this up to a 5/5. They still need something else, or else they're dead on board. Okay, that counts. That is something else. Let's see, if I draw land... I did not draw land. That's unfortunate. Can't really attack here, which is rough. Oh well. I'm gonna go ahead and stick this. Yeah, if we had one more land, we could activate Memorial to Folly to get back this Merfolk Branchwalker and then play it and could trigger this. I'm not gonna bother... well, actually no, this is free. Once I thought about it, because they have to block here, or they're dead, and we don't lose anything from them blocking here, but they puts them down to 2, so they are once again in danger. This is an example of why this deck is so powerful. We're missing our blue source, we don't have enough lands, so we have 3 dead cards in hand, which is rough. But just our basic proactive game plan, backed up with a little bit of removal, has been more than good enough. We are solidly ahead this game. Yep. Now they lose one of these, because they are in fact legendary. Is that... this was worth 2 counters? Like, sure. Oh. Well, let's see if this works. We have lethal on board anyway, but I would like to attempt to do this first. In case they have a removal spell, we'd look stupid if we threw away our Wildgrowth Walker. Well, I'm glad that we did it the way we did. Okay, so now I'm not going to throw away 2 creatures to... I guess it would be throwing away the Walker, trading here to get him down to 1, which is, like, still not good enough. I'm not going to attack. I think we're very likely to win this game if we ever draw anything at all. Whereas we're at 29, like, they could activate this and hit us twice and we still wouldn't die. Okay, that was a fantastic top deck. Now we're in trouble. Oh, but they whiffed! Their deck's creature count isn't that high. Like, they're not guaranteed to hit off that card. Okay, so, cards that are good. Crushing Canopy, fantastic. That kind of might be it. The only interaction they showed was Lava Coil, so Midnight Reaper's kind of bad. We might want just another Vraska's Contempt, just more access to killing all their stuff. I think this looks pretty good. I think there's an argument for getting another Carnage Tyrant in here, but I'm not totally sure what we're supposed to cut for that. I think we're okay. I could see cutting, I guess, a Finality. Yeah, actually, I like that. Their creatures get too big for Finality to be good, and as I mentioned with Midnight Reaper, if they're killing our creatures, it's not usually in a way where we can get them back. So, cool. I haven't played against the Temur Climb deck, so I had to think for a bit, but happy with that sideboard strategy. Yes, this hand's okay. We have a lot of black sources, so we're pretty likely to cast this. Like, even if we miss on land for turn 3, we still have another Branchwalker to play. Okay, so we're guaranteed Branchwalker into Jadelight. Okay, no Incubation Druid, good news for us. I'm gonna go ahead and get the Swamp down because we have a lot of double black cards in our deck. Yeah, we do. Okay, cool. Apply pressure, draw extra cards with our creatures. This is what I love about Magic. Let's see what they got here. Okay, so this was a really good draw because it lets us use our turn efficiently. I'm going to go ahead and play our Llanowar Elves. And this is as fine a target as any, so I'm going to go ahead and cast this down. And if I want to, I still have access to triple green next turn with this Breeding Pool, so I can play these 2. And then set up for turn 5 big Hydroid Krasis. Okay, not a 4-3, hopefully. I'd still like to be able to attack. Okay, well, that isn't what I wanted, but can't always get what you want. Okay, that was a fantastic draw. No, thank you. Sure, that seems great. Can't attack with this, unfortunately. Yeah, now our board is commanding. We're really far ahead on life. They don't have their main engine going. They bend this guy, which is a little interesting. This is one of the better cards against us. Just keep a parade of 4/4s going. I'm going to attempt to Vivien Reid, and this might get Frilled Mysticked, but I don't know, can't really play around that. Like, it's gonna happen eventually. Yep, okay. Like, I guess I could play a Branchwalker, and they probably wouldn't Mystic that, and then I don't do anything else with my turn? Don't love that plan. So, I think we're mostly just gonna sit back here. Frilled Mystic makes the attack with the Wildgrowth Walker bad. Don't really want to just, like, trade Frilled Mystic for Jadelight Ranger. That's not awesome either. Next turn I can go ahead and play this with X equals 4, and that should pull us really far ahead. I assume that they've got, yeah, a pile of these as well. It was kind of lucky for us that they hadn't seen one yet, but our luck has ended. Our luck has run out. Okay, sure. Their attack's still just as bad as ours. Okay. I'm actually going to cast this at X equals 5, which is normally not a number that matters, but they are a Lava Coil deck, so... Cool. And no attacks, but our hand is quite good. Wish we hadn't drawn another land, but that's how it goes. Hopefully we find another Hydroid Krasis. Next turn we get to gain some life, make this creature bigger, kill whatever their best thing is. It'll probably be this. Okay. Domri's an interesting play because it's going to be kind of tough. Oh, okay. This is a really good play for them. Yep, sure. Okay, rough draw, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and play our Branchwalker. I guess I shouldn't have played a land first. And here we will take out the 4/3 because it is the scariest. We don't really have good attacks at this. I could guaranteed kill him if I attack with everything, because, or I either guarantee kill him or they have to take bad blocks. I don't really want to lose my Wildgrowth Walker, but I suppose that's a card that I can buy back with Finality. I was assuming I was going to Finality here, but maybe that's okay. I would really like, since they know about this, I think I need to get Domri off the table, because I really don't want this to have 5 counters on it, which he can if they riot it, so... Okay, I convinced myself. Domri dies today. That or they lose their board, and I'm fine with either one of those outcomes. This is not a good block. Yeah, okay, they figured it out. Yep, block like that, they get to keep their 3/3. Okay, so Domri still dies. We lose our Walker, they lose a bunch of stuff. And I think it's likely that they play out some stuff here, like they probably Krasis for 4, and then I just get to wrath the board and grow my Krasis. Yeah, we're still in trouble. This represents 2 additional 4/4s eventually, and they drew 2 cards off this Krasis, so things are not going swimmingly. That said, I don't think... I guess I'll attack with the 5/5 first. If for some reason they block, I'll just buy back these 2. I suppose... Casting Finality this turn is only really good if they have a Hadana's Climb in hand, and it's really bad. But, like, threatening additional copies of this, like, just by holding this, I really disincentivize them from playing this out, so... And then, obviously, my last option is to get these back and gain some life, but I think that's the worst option. I'm gonna wait. This might be crazy. Like, maybe I'm supposed to just attack there, then wipe the board and make this into a 7/7, and try to close out the game that way. If they play another Krasis also, I suppose, holding this, it's kind of bad, but it would have been bad anyway. Like, if I wipe the board and then they just play another Krasis. Yep. Oh, I wish I could draw 2 Krasis. Well, you are not a fantastic draw. Oh, well, I guess I can still be shipping in with this one, because I would love for them to trade here. Yes, please. Oh, thank goodness. Well, that's awesome for me. I'm gonna go ahead and get back the Branchwalker and the Hydroid Krasis. I'm gonna wait to play the Krasis till next turn. Oh. Well, now I wish I'd play things a little differently if I knew that I was just going to draw one next turn, but that's fine. We got a lot of life to work with, and we're about to draw a lot of cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going for X equals 7 on the first one. That's okay. Alright, so... I wonder if they boarded out their Hadana's Climbs. That's entirely possible. Like, just if they're worried about us killing all of their creatures, they're a little vulnerable. Okay, that's a good draw. Now they'll have access to all the mana in the world. Hopefully they don't find their third Krasis. I was feeling good about the Krasis fight since we had more lands than them, but feeling less good now that they have a Gilded Lotus. So let's, again, double count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, X equals 7. I have the biggest Krasis of all. Okay, these are actually great draws. Because, could even, like, take a turn off from Krasising to just double Jadelight Ranger, gain 12. Attack's still not good, that's fine. I hope they don't board in, like, a River's Rebuke. That would be really, really bad for us. If they just upheavaled our board. Huh, why didn't they grow their Incubation Druid? That's weird, they had 5 mana up. I think they were supposed to adapt this. Vivien Reid, sure. You gonna shoot down my jellyfish? Yep. Jellyfish down. Oh no, Wildgrowth Walker! Oh, that's so sad. Yep, sure, Growth Chamber Guardian. Fine. Huh. Well, I can still do that. Just flood the board with creatures so I can effectively pressure Vivien. Of course, I can also just effectively pressure Vivien if I cast this with X equals 8. So... I'm gonna get... Oh, shit! I grabbed the wrong card. Oops. That is pretty unfortunate, although that's a really good card to have on top. Well, I have screwed up this turn, as you can all see, but I think we can win anyway. Basically, I was considering doing this anyway, so we're down 6 life and 2 counters, which, as I said, is not great, but that's fine. Yeah, I think I, like, pulled up a card and then it put it down, maybe in a different order. I don't know, but... My fault, playing carelessly, not looking at the card I pulled out. Especially because, like, I pulled this one out and it just goes, whereas I was expecting to just pull a card out and get a prompt, because this is an X spell. Again, they hadn't been adapting this. Like, it's really weird. Sure. Get your last one. Thankfully, the chain stops after that, because they got rid of one of these very early, off of an Explore trigger. Okay, so let's count. They have 5 good blockers here. We have 6 decent attackers. Could even, like, kill one of these. I think I am just going to throw my board at Vivien to get rid of her. Because their blocks aren't that good. Like, they'll probably just eat a couple of my creatures here, and, they'll probably eat a couple of my creatures here and then just let her die. Like, they can block the 3/3 on the 2/2, the 4/4 on a 3/2, like, maybe 4/4 on another 3/2 or something. So, yeah. Screwed this game up a little. If they wanted to, they could combo block to kill our Wildgrowth Walker to properly punish us, whereas that's barely an option if this were a 5/7. Yeah, they might finally adapt this card. Then yeah, I'm just gonna cast a Hydroid Krasis for 1,000,000 here, and save the Vraska's Contempt for something that's actually really scary that we can't deal with. Oh wait, did I screw this up? Is she not dying here? Oh god, I didn't actually think about it. Huh. Well, this is pretty bad. Yeah, this was actually a really bad attack. I didn't see this set of blocks. Well, I think I'm kind of priced into it now. I was looking to see if there was a good Vraska's Contempt target. Like, I could kill this and save my Ranger, or I could Contempt her after throwing half my board away. But I don't think either of those are as good. At the very least, I hit her down to 1 here, so she can't just downtick to kill my Hydroid Krasis. Yep, sure. So, yeah. I felt pretty good about how the first game went. I have played this game quite poorly, so... Yeah, okay, let's count. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I can cast this with X equals 8. Cool. Okay, these are all good cards to have. Jadelight Ranger even works with the fact that their attack, while it preserved Vivien, it did not kill our Wildgrowth Walker, so that's cool. Please don't find another Krasis. Note that we found our own Vivien, which is excellent. We have all the lands in the world, so we can do all sorts of cool stuff. Again, I think we're in good shape. Oh, that's a sick card. Let's see what their last unknown is. They might play something here. Yeah, and they also have all the mana in the world from Incubation Druid, but... It would be nice to draw a Memorial to Folly, since we've got this dead Krasis. Those are exiled. Oh no! Oh, that's so bad for us. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that is the absolute best card they could have had left over. So let's see what the damage is. We have access to 1 more land than last turn, so we have 11 mana. What is the best combination? We can play this to go up to 12. We could play these 3 cards, which I think is pretty good. We can Vivien Reid. Get rid of this giant monster. Then we can Crushing Canopy, destroy target creature with flying. And then I could either Vraska's Contempt to hold down the board, or I can Jadelight Ranger, which creates 2 decent-sized blockers. I think Hydroid Krasis is killing Vivien this turn. Alternatively, I could just Vraska's Contempt Vivien, smash them for 8, and look to close the game that way. I really want to keep my own Vivien alive, though. I don't think I'm just going to pressure the game out. I think I'm going to have to protect myself. So I'm gonna go ahead and kill her. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pass. They're gonna play Zagana, I think, and then attack in, because that will give all of their creatures trample. I might be able to protect her anyway, but that's like not guaranteed. So I think I'm gonna pass, and then I can like triple or one block on each, and then after blocks, Vraska's Contempt her to remove the trample. I lose a lot of my board this way, but I can start digging myself out with Vivien and start pressuring them with the Hydroid Krasis. Yeah, this game has not been perfect from me, and them finding their third Krasis was like just good enough. If that had been like any other card in their entire deck, I think we could close this game out pretty easily, but drawing 6 cards, gaining 6 life, and forcing me to kill a 12/12 is enough. And yeah, I'm reasonably confident that they have cut their Hadana's Climbs. They haven't found one, and they've seen all the cards in the world. But I think Crushing Canopy is okay anyway. I might go down to like 1. If we're going to be trading off creatures like this in a longer, more normal game, I'm going to want the other Find Finality back. Wow, the 4th Krasis. That is so incredibly bad for me. Well, is this bad for me? Might not be. Block like that. Okay. What do they got with their remaining mana? Nothing? Oh, they've definitely got a Frilled Mystic. I was expecting them to Zagana, but that's the only way this makes sense. So, I'm going to attempt to Vraska's Contempt the Hydroid Krasis now, so that I will have access to all of my mana next turn. Because, yeah, they're definitely going to Frilled Mystic here. And I guess I could force them to discard an extra card by waiting, but I don't think that's as important. Like, if Vivien finds my last Hydroid Krasis, I want to have all my mana available for that. Oh, nope, they have a climb. Okay. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is uptick Vivien. Yes! Oh, God, I have such a choice. How many cards are left in my deck? Whoa. I definitely clicked View Battlefield, and it gave me the Krasis. I mean, that's okay, I guess? Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, so I can cast this with X equals 10, which is a convenient number. Because it gives me the biggest Krasis in town. Go ahead and play this tapped. Our attacks are crap, so not going to do that. Well, I think that's their last Krasis. Okay, so no more of that. So, if I kill this, it's unlikely that they can... Well, they can get a Zagana, and that's another infinity big creature. Carnage Tyrant, why are you so small? You're just not big enough in this game state. But mostly if I get rid of... Oh, God. Oh, this has been a slog. Yeah. I feel like I've been one step behind. Like, basically, I was kind of one step ahead, and then I made a couple pretty critical mistakes, and now I've just been on the back foot and can't seem to get back in it. It is unfortunate. And I'm running out of good cards to hit. I guess, like, a Memorial to Folly to get back a Krasis is, like, my best option. Ugh, that's not pretty. So, they kind of have to kill Vivien here. Otherwise, she shoots down their Krasis, and then... whatever. I'm just very, very far ahead. Uh-oh. That's not good for me. How many Frilled Mystics have they played? 1... 2? Oh, God. They might be holding up, like, double Mystic here. That would be so bad. Oh, no, just Hadana's Climb. They're just gonna, like, kill me. Sure. I guess they can jump that then and attack me for, like, 19 in the air. What are they holding up then if they wanted to flip that? They've got 6 mana now, which is, like, a weird number. This match has been long and extremely complicated. Hopefully I just get, like, Walker into Jadelight and just pressure them out in the last game. Does this only take 2? No? I must have miscounted. They really want Vivien off the table, but I don't know if that's going to end super well for them. Like here, I think I just get to eat their 4/4, because she was kind of dead anyway. If they have a Lava Coil, I'm going to look stupid, because I lose my best way to pressure their Vivien, but... Well, it's a good draw. Let's see, I can go ahead and play a land. Here I have access to 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's like so much and probably still not enough. Well, it's enough to do most of the things that I wanted to do. So, let's see here. I guess I should have led with Vraska's Contempt, because like I said, I'm pretty sure they have another Mystic. And I guess I'd prefer to have Vivien resolve than Vraska's Contempt. I really think I needed both. Huh. I think I'm actually just going to concede this game. Like, just to save time. I don't think I can beat this Winged Temple. I guess it's going to end quickly enough either way that it doesn't matter that much, but I think this is going to beat me now. Okay, go ahead. Kill Vivien. So I've mostly cut off their cards, but the problem is that I think they have the trump. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to keep up with the fact that they just can go crazy with this. Yep, that was not how I wanted my Jadelight Ranger to flip, but I do gain 1,000,000, so maybe if they're tapping this to try to kill me, I can just kill them in response. So yeah, I think that might have been a little early concession, but I think I'm very unlikely to win this game. Maybe if I had another Find Finality in my deck, I could do something, but... Their Jadelight Ranger also finding the few lands left in their deck. Yeah, like, what made me pause was I realized that if they're trying to kill me with this, or even if they advance her, put her to an 8/8 and they're attacking for 16, they're kind of losing that race. Yeah, they're out of Krasis, and they have a good mana sink that will kill me quickly, but... Oh god, this guy again! Okay, 1 hit, but it was a fantastic hit. Bleh. Yeah. I think that might be the end. I was already not in great shape, but this makes it worse. God, and the third Frilled Mystic, which they're going to find cards like that. There are only 13 cards left in their deck. This is, in fact, average if they were playing 4. But, ugh. This has been a tough game because I think I made a mistake pretty early, and I've just been losing very slowly since then. And we're, like, kind of flooded, but I don't even know if proportion-wise we are flooded. We've also seen most of our deck. Oh boy. Yeah, like, we need them to, like, not kill us while we draw something worth Frilled Mysticking, and then, like, 2 more good draws. This is just a really, really difficult card to beat once it flips. It kills you very quickly, and it's even better on defense. Like, none of our creatures can attack into this. And this is like their 4th best creature. Ah, they're attacking first to force us to block, and then they'll flip it. Which, we could kill it by just blocking a lot of stuff under it, but then we lose a lot of our board. Is that worth it? Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and concede. We can't win this game. Now with another Mystic and no good draws. Like, we don't have any more Krasis, which are one of the only things that work through a counter. Just, it's not coming together. So like I said, they have Hadana's Climb, but they seem to be less all in on it. They didn't play one until turn 1,000,000. I'm gonna go ahead and get the Finality back in. Okay. Shake it off. So you get to start a new game where I haven't screwed up yet. Play first. Oh, this hand sucks. I think I might keep it, though. It's got good interaction, a sweeper, and Jadelight Ranger. Ooh, best draw is a Wildgrowth Walker. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about Finality as a sweeper. Like, it doesn't kill Incubation Druid, which really sucks, but it kills most other things, which is good. Okay. We are not lucky, did not draw the perfect card. Hopefully Jadelight can find us something to do. Really, one thing that people don't talk about, because it's a little obvious, is that Jadelight Ranger is really good with Finality. This card can either get you all the lands you need to sweep the board. Yeah, I'll just keep that on top. Might even cast it next turn. We'll see. If they don't activate this... If they attack, I'm going to block whatever they... This was going to trade for something like this eventually. Okay. Here, I believe they have made a mistake. Because I'm going to attack, and I think they are going to block and then activate. And I'm going to get to Vraska's Contempt this and deny them going to get another Guardian. They really needed to activate while I was tapped out. Because this is when it resolves the adaptability, not when it activates. So, here, one of their best card advantage engines just got cut off because of their timing. So, that's cool. Okay, untap land. Oh, they're leaving a Frilled Mystic? Okay. In that case... I'm gonna go ahead and attack. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and do this for 3. Not a great one, but it's a 2-for-1 even if they counter it. Gains us a life, and if they do counter it, which I think they're likely to, because they're dying pretty quickly, they can't really afford to be taking 3 in the air. Sets us up to better Finality. We can go ahead and find and get it back. Okay, mediocre draw, but that's fine. Oh, but yeah, once they shocked this in, like, this was the most obvious telegraph in the world of Frilled Mystic, and I really want to resolve Vivien Reid. Which, unfortunately, they got to do first, so... This game might be slipping away from us. Don't really have good options. Like, I'm gonna attack here, but they're almost certainly gonna block. Yep, sure. So we get to stick our own Vivien. And they're, again, a step ahead this game, which is rough. Guess we go with a Jadelight Ranger. Next turn, if we hit a land, we could Wildgrowth Jadelight find to get back Jadelight Krasis, which is, like, pretty good, but we're kind of under the gun here. Them having the Vivien advantage is really tough. Oh my gosh! Who would have thought that in this matchups, it's this card that makes this impossible? Like, I've just continuously felt like I didn't have any chance because they just always have this. Ugh. Rough. So, go ahead, plus Vivien. See what we get.
The wilds are my shield.
Well, that's a way to fight through Frilled Mystic. Rar. I guess that's that's the answer. Just don't give them a good opportunity to use this card, and now, like, they held up that mana and they're not going to get to do anything with it, so... thank you, Carnage Tyrant.
Balance comes.
Now, they kind of need to commit to the board, or else Carnage Tyrant's just going to massacre Vivien, and we'll run away with the game that way. But if they just commit a bunch of stuff to the board, I'm just going to Finality, and then we have a 9/8 Carnage Tyrant, and they lose a bunch of stuff, and we still get to punch Vivien for some amount of damage. So, wow. Good card. Good card. People are sleeping on this guy a bit. He's not as good as he used to be, because the Esper control decks have better Wraths now. And things like the Krasis get so big that a 7/6 isn't infinitely big anymore, but still quite good. Let's see what they do here. There's probably a temptation to, like, play a big Krasis. Yeah, they shocked themselves to get that in. Also note how low their life total's getting. Like, we can just close the game if they don't do something here. Probably casting this for Infinity. Yep. Alright, so now they have all the cards in hand. I wish there was a way to just put a counter on this guy. I'd like to cleanly kill Vivien here, but... Alright, so... what are we doing? We have access to 6, possibly 7 mana. I could Chupacabra plus get a Wildgrowth Walker down, and then uptick Vivien, and then mine's the one at 1,000,000 life. I like the sound of that.
Meet my newest friend.
Sure, I'll get a Branchwalker. Sad to see Vivien and Vraska's Contempt go to the bottom, but... oh well. Chupacabra... Wildgrowth Walker, play a Forest, Rar.
Strike me, and you strike nature.
Now they need a burn spell, or they're kind of going to lose the game, because Vivien Emblem is really hard to beat. So yeah, felt super behind, then we found the implacable Death Lizard, and... I think we're pretty likely to win this game. Like, even if they somehow hurt Vivien so we don't get to ult, like, we're kind of running away with the game in other ways. Yeah, they're going to attack here, and I'm going to chump, because she is far more valuable than anything right now. They had, like, land double lava coil and got to punch her. Like, then they're in okay shape. Even that's not great. Okay. Okay. Do you have a way to give her haste? Okay, you got my walker. No, they do not have a way to give her haste. So... my creatures are sweet now. They have vigilance, so I can attack freely. The game gets really stupid once you get a Vivien emblem.
Not bad. For a month.
Alright, and now I'm going to flood the board with powerful creatures. Sure, I like the sound of that. Alright. I have not ulted a Vivien in a long time. Decks right now are, like, really good at pressuring them. Okay, so, great first game, not so great second game, and third game that kind of turned around. I guess that's how Sultai does. Okay, second game, second match. Hopefully not quite as long and painful as that one. Oh boy. I don't want to record 3 of those in a row. That would be my longest 3-match Magic video ever. And I've played some slow control decks on this channel, but that match was just whew. This hand's sweet. Card filtering / card advantage. Makes us resilient against removal and applies pressure. Endgame. These are... If I could change one thing, I'd want, like... Well, there'd be fewer basics, so that I can remove a card without screwing us on a color. Like, maybe turn the Swamp into, like, a Cast Down or something. Or maybe even a Chupacabra. Then we wouldn't have double black, so... I'll take this hand as it is. Okay, that's a fine draw. Guess I'll go ahead and get Woodland Cemetery down. It doesn't really matter. It's not like we have any blue cards on 2 that we have to worry about getting this down as soon as possible, but... I don't know. It's fine. Okay, Danto Vanguard. This is the match I was talking about. This is probably a red-white tokens deck. This deck, or this matchup, can be quite tough because of cards like this. But then once we get Cry of the Carnarium, it becomes pretty easy. Definitely don't want second Vivien in this matchup. Okay, Mardu. So this might be like a Mardu Aristocrats or aggro strategy. Now this is when we have to decide what we're doing. I'm not going to block this the first time, but I am going to look to block once I have a Midnight Reaper down. Because then, in addition to it costing them a bunch of life, we're going to start drawing cards from our blocking, so... blocking becomes much more valuable when you have this. We lose life in the process, but that is an excellent draw. Okay, so the first time I traded life for a little bit of time, I declined to trade this for a 7-life swing. But now that we have the resources to win a very long game, I'm much more inclined to do so. See what they do here. They're starting to run out of cards, but this is a lot of damage ready to go. Oh gosh. Well, that's bad for us. Okay, so what do we do here? I think that we're just going to do this. Then next turn I can Chupacabra, kill the last knight, look to block here. Take some damage, but again, just continue getting our incremental advantages. This card's really rough for us. We would love to find like a Vraska Contempt. The turn after the Chupacabra, we could like tap land, Contempt this. Okay, that was not what we wanted to draw. That's rough. Okay, Jadelight Ranger. Maybe we'll find like a Wildgrowth Walker at some point. The problem here is that we're like sort of stabilizing. They'll get us a little lower as we continue to stabilize. But then if they play heroic reinforcements and just attack for 30 million damage, we're kind of just dead. And that's how this deck wins. They apply just enough pressure, and as the opponent starts to stabilize, reinforcements just kills you. Maybe if they're playing this, they aren't playing reinforcements, which would be great for us, but would not count on it. Well, yeah. That's rough. I guess we get to kill that with Vivien, but then Seraph just kills Vivien, so that's not a great exchange, but it's one we kind of have to take. Still gonna do this. Trade this 2/2 that isn't doing anything else for some time. Yeah, and like even as Vivien kills this, we're still just kind of dead, because then we're taking 7 when we're at 10. I mean, we're gonna try. It's not like it's a surprise that I have Vivien in my deck. We're not revealing anything else, but... So this might actually not be like a Mardu aggro deck. It really looked like it at first. This might just be like Mardu Angels, which should be a better matchup, but we were on the draw without any acceleration and a pretty mediocre hand for what they were doing, and Adanto Vanguard is a messed up card. Yeah, overall, much happier to see this than Heroic Reinforcements, but... oh god. Now they're just making fun of us. Let's see, what keeps us alive here? Okay, they're killing her, so, like, if we draw a Wildgrowth Walker, that keeps us alive.
Not again.
Not again! Feel the same way, Vivien. Hydroid Krasis, not good enough. Okay. Well, that kind of stunk. We just got... they just curved out and murdered us. Unfortunate. Canopy, great. Contempt, also great. Carnage Tyrant, pretty whatever. Midnight Reaper, not really how we're looking to win this. Do I want, like, one Cry? I don't think I want a bunch of this, because it's probably just Adanto Vanguard and History Benalia, but those cards are very mean. I'll bring one in, maybe reevaluate. Like, I would like to find room for these, but I don't know what we're cutting. Like, all of our other cards are great. Look for something a little more explosive on our side and a little less indestructible on command on theirs. I will play first. This hand's great. This is one of those hands where the Llanowar Elves doesn't do anything immediately, but we're hoping that we can leverage it later on. Like, if this were a 6-card hand without the Llanowar Elves, we'd actually be better off by turn 2, because we'd still just have the Wildgrowth Walker, but we wouldn't have paid 2 life. But you can't know what you're going to draw, and the odds that I draw something which wants us to have more mana in play are essentially infinite. Aha. Okay, need to find more lands, but we have a good card for that. This was a good draw. It's good against most of the cards in their deck. We even have a Contempt ready for a Seraph of the Scales. Also, note that one of the reasons last game was so bad was because they were just beating us down with Adanto Vanguard. Oh, they're definitely killing my Walker here. Yep. Oh my gosh, Lava Coil, you're so mean. Well, this is really unfortunate, not finding another land yet, but... definitely worth getting this down and trying, instead of trying to dig for the land. 3 life and turning this into a 2/4 is just really good. Ideal draw is like another Branchwalker, so we can go branch into land into another branch, I guess. Hey, they don't have double white. Oh, please, don't have the second Lava Coil. The Devil, okay. Wow, they're just really scared of Wildgrowth Walker. Oh my gosh, come on, land, please. Acceptable, I will take it. We need to find a blue eventually, but this is fine. Now that we can cast these, I'm feeling much better. Yeah, just play like a Seraph of the Scales or something. Unfortunate that they are playing the spot removal plan when we played like 2 of the only creatures in our deck that are actually vulnerable to spot removal. Okay. If we find a blue land, I think we'll be in very good shape now. Okay, and hopefully that was their only Seraph of the Scales, because Chupacabra does not match up super well against that card. But yeah, like if we draw a blue land here and can cast this for X = 4, that'll really get us into this game. Oh, and one of the changes that I made, compared to other lists that I've seen... oh god. What do they have on 5 that's not Lyra? Tithe Taker, plus are they going to bedevil me? Judith. That's pretty scary. Well, I mean, I need to kill her, even though this is annoying. Yeah, I just, like, don't really have a choice. Let's see what they kill. Probably the elves? If they kill the elves, I am going to attack and offer the trade, because a 1-1 with flying does not match up well against my 2-2, since we're so far ahead in life. If they'd killed the Branchwalker, I would not have attacked with the elves. I really wanted that in play for a Krasis at a later date. Okay, so they're starting to run out of cards. We've got a Chupacabra in the bank in case of like a Lyra or something, but I really don't know where their curve is supposed to be. Like, Lyra implies like a big Control-y Angels deck. Okay. You continue to annoy me until the end, Adanto Vanguard. Especially without our Wildgrowth Walkers. Anything else? No. Ugh. Well, I'm gonna play this and pass. They're almost out of cards. And if we can go ahead and stick this, gain a bunch of life, make this really big. Adanto Vanguard is kind of invalidated at that point. So there's a 3-1 attacking into our 3-5. I'm gonna go ahead and block here. 2-2 doesn't really mean anything here. Can turn it into life. Also, their life total is getting really low, so... Please don't kill my Wildgrowth Walker. Please just let one of them live. What do you got? Ah, that's gross. Man. Oh, but yeah, one of the changes I made was I went up to 25 lands, both because I was just not hitting the lands as much as I wanted, and because, I wanted to find room for a 9th blue source. Frank Karsten had a really good article discussing the math of, like, how many blue sources you should play on these decks just for Hydroid Krasis, and his answer was that 9 was the good number, and the initial list I copied had 8, so... right. Play this tapped. Ugh. Like, I kind of suspect they have a Lyra in hand, and they've been missing double white for a while, so I don't want to burn my Chupacabra. But also, Chupacabra kind of shuts down their attacking, because it kills this, and threatens... If they block here, they go down to 4, 3 if I attack. I think I have enough of a life total, I just need to be patient. I have a lot of good draws here. We still have... what? 6 Explorer creatures, plus 9 blue sources, plus... whatever. Oh my gosh. Okay, good draw, please. Please. You know what? That's fine. That is acceptable. Show me a blue source and then something good on top. No. Well, it's not the order I was referring to, but again, totally acceptable. So, I'm gonna go ahead and attack here, because no, I'm not. Never mind, I forgot. This can get Death Touch, which I don't want to lose my Walker to trading with this. Okay. Things were looking really worrying, but Jadelight Ranger into Blue Source was the best that could have gone. Oh, please don't play Lyra. Yep. Okay, I amend what I just said. Please only have one Lyra. Because I'm going to go ahead and Chupacabra this in my turn. Huh. They don't have triple white, so they are not able to give this Vigilance until the end of turn. And so they probably want to attack with this card, but that will leave them somewhat vulnerable. Yep. although they gain a bunch of life back, because Lyra is a very good card. If they've got another one, we might just be out of the game. Like, we might just not have the resources to pull ahead. If they don't have another one, though, if this is just some bad card, then I think we could be in good shape. Go ahead and attacking here if they want to attack. I will freely block with my Chupacabra. They can't really afford to lose that much life. That said, even if they have a Lyra, if we can draw one more land, then we can cast this with X equals 6, and it will just be the biggest thing on the table. So maybe that'll be enough. Yep, sure. I'm happy to see them do anything with their white mana that isn't cast Lyra Dawnbringer. Huh. Block? Yeah, they had to trade there, because otherwise they're dead on board. If they go down to 2 and they only have the 1 blocker. Aha! This card is fantastic against every card in our deck. Except Hydroid Krasis. If you're not aware, this is a cast trigger. It happens... Aw, oh, man, that's so mean. Well, whatever. But yeah, this shuts down most of our deck. It's kind of the cheesy reason to play a deck like this, because you just want to mess up decks like mine. Well, those are great draws. I think I'm going to attack with my Jadelight Ranger here. Basically, I want this Seraph of the Scales to die at some point, and then I can just find Finality and clean up all the spirit tokens. That said, I'm kind of threatening lethal anyway, just because this has Trample. Not a lot of creatures get Flying and Trample. So I think we have stabilized in this one. They could still mess us up, but it seems difficult. Worst play for us here is probably, again, Lyra Dawnbringer, because we're kind of incentivized to block to get this dead, but then we just have no answer for the Lyra. History of Benalia, though, is totally acceptable. I could find, but our finds aren't very good. Like, another Hydroid Krasis is great, but nothing else works with this out. Let's see what they do here. Let's see, if I find Finality, this becomes an 0-1, which is irrelevant for now. This is actually a good draw, because I can destroy target creature with flying, get her off the table, then I attack with this, and they have to block with all 3 of their spirit tokens, and even then they still go to 1. So yeah, if this had come down really early, we probably would have just, like, lost the game. We couldn't have kept up with this. We really needed, like, our Wildgrowth Walker and stuff. But because it was so late, our best card doesn't even care about it anymore. And our draws off of this were excellent. Like, getting 2 copies of this was awesome. And then finally Crushing Canopy. Really good card. I'm not used to liking this type of card out of the sideboard, but this unique combination just really seems to kill everything that I care about. Okay, now I think we have them dead even through Lyra, because we can put our counters on the Krasis, so it'll go up to 7, down to 3. Lyra will be a 1-1. She'll first strike for 1 lifelink damage. Okay. It's pretty scary, but I don't think is particularly close to killing us. They need 5 surprise damage from somewhere. So they are playing Heroic Reinforcements and Judith, so... if I'm being honest, their deck is just kind of a mess. Like, I'm not sure what their game plan is. They're playing slow, powerful, take over the game cards, and aggro kill you in one turn cards. I really don't know what they're trying to do. Makes me want to bring in an extra Cry. Maybe in place of... Oh, maybe trim a Llanowar Elves when you're going in on the Cry plan. Huh. I changed my mind. I don't want this Cry. Mostly, I just want... I wish I had, like, 5 more Vraska's Contempts. Because Tocatli Honor Guard does not die to Cry of the Carnarium, and that is by far the most annoying card they showed. We, like, have very easy ways to answer every other card, except maybe Seraph of the Scales, but... Oh, one thing I started to say earlier and did not finish. One of the reasons that first game was so rough, where they just kind of beat the crap out of us, was because we didn't have a Wildgrowth Walker. Like, Adanto Vanguard messes us up on, like, every other axis, but if we can stick Wildgrowth Walker and then explore even once, Vanguard's kind of invalidated. Alright, let's see a good hand. We stumbled a bit both games. We didn't even really stumble the first game, we were just too slow. Oh gosh. If we draw even one land, this hand is just great. Like, Walker into double Branchwalker is totally acceptable as the first 4 turns. Ugh. Is our average 6 better? I'm gonna keep it. This game, we're either going to kind of run away with it. Oh god, please. That's not the ideal draw. Yeah, we can win this game very easily. And also, I guess another reason to ship this hand, if they play an Honor Guard here, we're just sunk. Tithe Taker, though, we can beat that card. Oh god. We're nowhere close to you, Krasis, sorry. Alright, this is me getting punished for my greed. I envisioned a world where we drew a single land and just won the game very easily. But that was not the world that opened itself up for us. Yeah, we're dead. I'll play it out, but we're going to be dead in a couple turns. We're too far behind now. Yep, this game is a memorial to my folly. I was a little too happy with how this looked in my head. God, and they're just having an ideal time over there. Couldn't be better. I mean, at least we can trade with this and without something getting shot, I guess. I don't know. God, we don't even have double green for a Jadelight Ranger. Yeah, like, if they somehow have nothing at all and don't quite kill us here, because they're only attacking for 8, then double Branchwalker gains us a lot of life. We could get back into it that way, but, like, they would need to actually have just nothing at all. And even then, we're still just, like, dying to this going off next turn. Like I said, we just completely stumbled. We're 2 turns behind because of this and whatever. I guess I can blunt a 2 damage here. Wow. Okay, maybe they have nothing at all. Huh. I think I need to bin that. I guess playing that next turn, that into this, would actually be great. Definitely don't want Llanowar Elves. Both of these being 3/2s is ideal here, because these will attack as 5/3s, and we just get to block freely there. Oh god. Are we gonna pull this out? They just, like, have a heroic reinforcement, so I'll feel stupid for daring to hope, but... Crucially, heroic reinforcements gives +1/+1, not +1/+0, and so suddenly these blocks become bad, which I think would spell the end. Yeah, maybe they're just the most flooded ever. God, if we win this, it's just going to reinforce my bad habits so badly. God, and they appear to have just nothing. That's why they didn't attack with either of these. I'd like to get this off the table at some point so that Finality can properly clean up, but... Oh no, drill bit. Glad we have 2 explore creatures in hand. I suppose I can just Finality, or find and grab some explore stuff. Sweet. I'm gonna look for an untapped green source that doesn't hurt me here. Acceptable. Oh my gosh. I think we're doing it, which is like almost upsetting because we really shouldn't be. Do I start attacking? This guy's super giant. We're at 19, that's pretty healthy. Yeah, they would need an additional removal spell and double blocking, and if they've got that, I think we can just easily clean up the game with what we have left. Oh, this is an example of what I was talking about, one of the issues I see with the deck that they are playing here. Oh, they probably have another Judith in hand. So they had a really great aggro start, and they just didn't have quite enough to finish us. Like, if they'd had a Skewer the Critics to finish this off the turn we blocked the Judith or something, or even Skewer the Critics, I guess it wouldn't have been active before, but if they had gotten rid of this Walker, they win the game very easily. But instead they had Drill Bit, and Drill Bit hasn't affected how we're playing this game at all. Okay, they're a Kaya's Wrath deck. I mean, I guess that's a strategy. They're, like, out of gas, though. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this Hydroid Krasis and this Wildgrowth Walker. Go back to gaining 1,000,000 life, and then this can just, like, win the game. Now I hope they don't have another Drill Bit, because I really kind of need this at this point. That's not even totally true. We got a Memorial to Folly. Yeah, like, Kaya's Wrath is okay, but because they've got, like, Tithe Taker and a Danto Vanguard, but it's not even that much as far as creatures that you're okay with wrathing away. I'm going to bin that. I don't think we're in the market for that. I'm okay with having one of those around, though. Greatly reduces the number of cards they can draw that will really keep them into it. Cast Down, maybe I'm supposed to cut this, but it's a really cheap answer to Tecatli, so I really want it. But the fact that this answers both Lyra and Seraph of the Scales well, whereas this one does not, seems really important to me. I've got the better board, I'm a little ahead on life, got some value in my mana base, 1 card each in hand, and I bet my card's better. Yeah, like, they can't even really attack with these. Yeah, sure, hit me for 2, that's fine. And now they can't block. And I think I'm just going to cast this Krasis with X equals 5. 5/5 flyer that draws 2 cards and gains 2 life seems fine to me. Really just want to close this game out. If they top deck a Kaya's Wrath, we might be in trouble, but again, we've got Memorial to Folly. We can get the Krasis back. Those were excellent draws. Something we can play without opening us up to Kaya's Wrath. Reinforcements, sure. Again, their attack's not super great with anything. I guess they can punch me for 6, but then they lose their spirit, yeah. Cool. Wildgrowth Walker. Next turn we can try to find an Explore creature with Vivien, and then we'll have triple Walker plus play an Explore creature, and the game will be beyond over. So yeah, even though we almost got punished and died horribly, and we had to get lucky with what they drew, I would like to draw attention to the type of one-lander that I kept, which was arguably our best card against their aggro draws, which it's their aggro draws that are usually going to beat us. It's not the Angels and the Drill Bit strategy that's going to win. And specifically, this plus the enabler it needed. We had a Wildgrowth Walker plus a bunch of Branchwalkers, so all it took, like, if we drew a Woodland Cemetery on turn 2, we would have won this game very easily, instead of kind of by the skin of our teeth. But anyway, second match, 2-0. Deck is really good, and sometimes we get lucky. Okay, one more match. Let's see if I can manage a 3-0 with this deck that I've been talking up. Play first. If we draw a green source, it's okay. And we're on the play. I think I'll keep this. There are a lot of matchups where I'll get messed up for this choice, but who knows, maybe we'll draw Wildgrowth Walker into a green source and just win the game easily. We have 25 lands, and most of those tap for green, so like, the odds of hitting this on turn 3 are pretty good. And they get better if we draw that. Perfect. Just how I drew it up. Breeding Pool, maybe probably a Sultai Mirror. Yep, sure. This is a little scary. This can run away with games, but we've got a lot of good cards in our hand for the Mirror. And now we have lands to cast them. Okay. Would really like to draw a Ravenous Chupacabra. Just get this off the table before it's too big of an issue. Karn. Interesting. And they don't want it. Okay, so their deck is doing something significantly different from mine. Wow. We both went 2-drop into Jadelight Ranger, and it's remarkable how poorly our version lines up against theirs. So, let's try Jadelight Ranger again. If I hit an untapped green, that doesn't hurt me. Huh. Is that good enough with that other Jadelight Ranger next turn? Maybe. I'm gonna go ahead and get this Llanowar Elves down. No attacks. Now at least we have blocks, which we did not really have before. Oh, but yeah, I've seen versions playing with these Incubation Druids. I don't love it. Like, I tried one at first. Okay, like, Karn is good here. They're gonna get a lot of cards off this guy. Gonna have a Llanowar Elves. If we could get rid of him, that would be awesome. 2 cards down, and then that would basically make it impossible for them to get this Krasis, but our attacks are not good. Can we make them good? Land, put the counters on this with a Finality. He goes up to a 6/5, down to a 2/1, and then this kills this. No, that's not good. Oh, I should have played the Jadelight and then maybe find a land that we don't want to... Perfect. Again, attack's not really good here, but that's fine. Now they kind of have to downtick Karn to get the Krasis, but, because otherwise we'll just Contempt it, and they know about the Contempt. And this is pretty scary, because they've got Accelerants in their hands, so they're going to be able to power out a big Krasis before we are. This might be a good turn to Finality. Wish our creatures were a little bigger. Alright, so I'm gonna do something a little unorthodox. How bad is it if I do these as well? If they want to eat those, they kind of have to lose Karn. I'm getting really aggressive here because I think I'm likely to just sweep these up with my own Finality anyway. But basically, I'm trying to see if I can engineer a world where I kill Karn and sweep their board. Like, if the Wildgrowth Walker blocks it all, it'll die to Finality. Because I want to get their mana dorks off the table before, one, this'll grow too big, and two, before they get to make their giant Krasis. It's like, I think if they block like this, I'm just in excellent shape. Okay, so they didn't block this, so this has no damage on it. So now... take action, put it on Jadelight Ranger. Yeah! Alright! That worked out. Cool. Yeah, fine Finality. Really good card. Sometimes wish I were back up to 3, but... like I said, I've got a lot of card advantage in this build. Don't necessarily need it. If we draw a land, we can start playing relatively big Krasis. Really run away with the game. Sad. Yeah, I'm just gonna hit them for a bunch of damage. I'm just gonna pass. Like, playing this with X equals 3 is so mediocre. It's not really gonna help us close out the game. And, okay, now I'm just gonna Contempt the Wildgrowth Walker because I don't want them to gain a million. The card I was most worried about there was them sticking a Vivien Reid, because she just makes it really hard to grind someone out of the game. Whereas now, they didn't gain a bunch of life, their board is much worse than mine. They're not really getting anywhere, they're just kind of spinning their tires. If we draw a land, I might even just Carnage Tyrant instead of Krasising. Okay. A good play. Not drawing lands is really rough. This is why I went up to 25, and we're just not drawing them anyway. Again, I really want an additional land before I start blowing these. These are our best resource in this matchup. I can't afford to just throw away a bunch of them early. Huh. Why did they shock that in? They have an additional 1 mana play? Okay. She's really scary. No, they didn't want it. Okay. Fine by me. Our best draw here is probably like Jadelight Ranger into a land. Well, that's not bad. Yeah, like if they double block here, they're throwing away a bunch of their board and we draw a card. Oh my gosh, please, please land 6 ever. Oh my gosh. This is so painful. Oh, we'll see what she does. Oh god, and they're just continuously making mana. Their Krasis is gonna be so much better than ours. This is really, really, really painful. Okay, well, we drew the land. It might be too late. What are our best options? We could start upticking Vivien. They don't really have an ability to pressure her yet, but they could start getting one going. I guess they could downtick again, kill this, and then we'd have to chump to really keep her alive. That might be the best long-term play. We could play a Krasis at 4, and then we're more threatening to pressure Vraska, and we can follow. If they play a Krasis in response, we can more deal with that. I think I like the Vivien play, though. I think this has the highest upside.
Would you like to see what's left of us? I've seen things that would break someone like you.
I'm actually going to get the Llanowar Elves here, Midnight Reaper would be nice, but I think my mana's pretty spoken for over the next few turns, whereas Llanowar Elves accelerates me, so that's a really good play here. We don't have good attacks, unfortunately. That said, I think we are setting up to possibly have a really good turn next turn. Yeah, sure, they have a 2-2, whatever. But, like, if we can Contempt plus dig into an Explore creature... Okay, that's not good for us. Man, this mirror is so rough. Like, it's so easy, if you stumble at all, to just fall infinitely far behind. Here, gonna sack that Llanowar Elves. I'm very glad that I got and played it. Main deck Plague Crafter, huh? I haven't seen that. Not entirely sure that's exactly what this deck wants to be doing, but... Okay, so we're in trouble. We're in a lot of trouble. Definitely upticking Vivien. Let's see what we got.
No one knows the wilds like I do.
Do I get a tap land, or... I don't think I wanted the additional walker, so I'll go ahead and get a land. Then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to play a Branchwalker. Okay, sure. I'm gonna get rid of their Wildgrowth Walker. I think there's an argument for contempting Vraska, but I think right now one of my biggest advantages is my board, and so I'm gonna try to leverage that into pressuring Vraska instead. Whereas that Walker was gonna keep going out of control and bricking my creatures. Right, now I am going to kill the Branchwalker if they give me a choice. Yep. Okay, lose my Wildgrowth Walker here, but they lose multiple creatures. Again, I think my advantage is in the board, so I'm going to keep trying to thin their board out. Like, they could catch way back up with a Hydroid Krasis, but I think they have to Contempt Vivien, or we're just going to keep drawing too many cards. Let's hope that card isn't anything good. Okay, cool. Let's see. I can go up to 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack both of these at Vraska. I could, like, try to draw a card with Midnight Reaper, but I think our turn is much better spent just casting the biggest Krasis we can. Yay, draw lots of cards. Those are not incredible draws. I will be perfectly honest. 2 lands Llanowar Elves was not what I was hoping for. We already burned one of our... No, we burned both of our Vraska's Contempts. Okay, so... we really need to pressure this girl. She's generating a lot of advantage. That said, you can make up for that advantage with mana and cards, and we have plenty of both of those. A Ravenous Chupacabra would be excellent here. Can kill the Krasis that they're about to play, attack Vraska to death. Yep. Hell, even a Jadelight Ranger would be great. Nope, instead we draw another land. That is really, really unfortunate. We have 6, 8, go up to 9. I guess we play the Implacable Death Lizard plus a Midnight Reaper. I could play another big Krasis, but that doesn't really do anything here. Yeah, I felt really good, and then... oh my gosh. Wow. This card is either the best card ever in the mirror, or so terrible. Like, a lot of the cards that we have are really bad to exile and let us bring back, because we have, like, ETB effects and stuff. And we have tons of removal, so you often can't get it, but here, they're gonna get so far ahead because of this card. Okay, we really need like a Chupacabra here to kill the Krasis and finish off Vraska. If we get that, we can start digging our way back into the game. Yes! Okay. They're gonna get to draw a card here, and Midnight Reaper is gonna continue to be a pain in the neck, but getting Vraska off the table is a start. And play this tapped, play Llanowar Elves. Okay, so we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We can cast this with X equals 10 next turn. Unfortunately, they have a Memorial to Folly, so they are also going to be Krasising again before too long. Yep, now they have a bunch of life, and they've gummed up the board, so Carnage Tyrant's pretty whatever. These games are tough, and oh my gosh, that's a really good selection of cards to have left over. Ugh! And that's also mean. Okay. Well, no, that's worse. Damn it! I really wanted my big Krasis to stick. Wow, do they already have, like, an answer in hand? I guess they don't know that we've got a Krasis coming, but, they're gonna wish that they had these back if they're just dying to a 10-10. These draws were much better than last time. No attacks, because our attacks are quite bad. So, we can, if we Chupacabra the Walker, we can look to set up a really good Finality. I don't know if that's a great plan. Alternatively, we might just Chupacabra the Midnight Reaper to shut off this crap. And look to, like, find back a couple Hydroid Krasis. Just win the game that way. I think that's probably what we will do. Okay, they didn't even need to use their Memorial, they just had one. That's unfortunate. Luckily theirs is slightly smaller than ours, which is an important amount. There's very little flying in this matchup, and so being one bigger than their flyer is great. Okay. And an important note here is that Chupacabra is going to be pretty mediocre, almost no matter what we pick, because they have a Memorial to Folly, so we're just giving them back whatever we get rid of, except that was our Midnight Reaper. So actually what we might do here is go ahead and find, and kind of want my Midnight Reaper back, and we'll pick up one Krasis. And now we just have to hope that they don't have their own Find Finality, because we'll just kind of die to it. Seems great. Yeah, this card completely changed the nature of these, like, mirrors. It's so hard to actually crush someone out of the game, because at any time they can just draw 5 cards. Cool. Draw a card. Thank you, Midnight Reaper. He's sort of like a reverse Hydroid Krasis, because you only invest a little bit of mana up front, but when he draws you cards, you lose life. Okay, this is still a problem, but possibly a manageable one. Yep, Llanowar Elves, sure. See if they attack with this. If they do, I'm going to Chupacabra the Walker, and I can apply a lot of pressure. They did not. They have 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, possibly 15. So I can cast it X equals 13. I mean, Vivien is not ready to kill, so I guess that's the play. just giving every point of size that I possibly can. I wasn't really doing anything else with the mana this turn anyway. Our attacks are still terrible. I'll discard these 2 Shocklands, because they don't do anything right now. We really need to get Vivien off the table, which I'm hoping that they can't find a way to answer the Krasis and it can just kill her. Oh god, do they have anything that dies? Oh god, and this can get back Vraska? Oh, that's so bad. God damn it. Oh, this is so rough. I don't like this card as much anymore because it's really bad on... Whoa, that's... Oh, they killed. Okay. It's really bad on turn 4, and I feel like the format's a little too efficient for you to get away with a 4-drop that you can't play until turn 8 or whatever. But it's really, really good here. Okay, we have a lot of mana. Let's see if we can leverage it. I think Vivien is going to kill their Krasis, and Ravenous Chupacabra is going to kill their Wildgrowth Walker, and unfortunately our attacks are still bad at that point.
The wild wasn't meant to be contained.
Let's see. Oh, and we're on track to deck before they are. We've drawn so many cards. And our attacks just suck. They're just really bad. I guess we can try and make them better for next turn, but I think we're gonna get buried by this. I think that Finebroker was the end. Like I said, we're already on track to deck before they are, and that was the worst way that could have turned out, but we can't just sit here and let them bury us with these and pretend that we're not already 4 cards behind. Oh, and we can play the Branchwalker this turn. Guess we can kill ourselves with a Hydroid Krasis next turn. This is real unfortunate. I think the way I've built the oh my gosh, just hitting lands every time. The way I've built the deck, I usually feel pretty favored in these mirrors. I've got additional Midnight Reapers, which trade really well. I've got the full 4 Krasis. I don't miss my land drops, so I can play better Krasis. Like, I've engineered this deck to be very grindy, but just the way individual cards have lined up this whole game, they've just buried us. Sure, you can play Plaguecrafter. That actually kills us more quickly because we have so few cards left in our deck. Yeah. I guess... Huh. One strategy I should have considered that I think was unlikely to work, but like I said, I should have considered it, was I should have been playing Vivien and upticking her. Because one of the ways we could win is if I miraculously managed to hold them off and got to ult Vivien Reid. Oh boy, this is the worst 7-card hand I've ever had on turn 37 in a game. Yep, get your Krasis. Maybe they'll lose track and cast this for like 10 and just die to decking.
The wilds are my shield.
Do I want any of these? Nope, I'm gonna fail to find. Maybe that'll give up the game, but I don't think so yet. Our attacks are still bad. They've got like a lot of this type of stuff. I guess they're not that bad, although if we attack and too many creatures die, we just die to Midnight Reaper. Yeah, I think my best route to victory here is that they forget how many cards are left in their library and they Hydroid Krasis for 1,000,000 and just die. So I'm going to play to what I think my best out is. Like, our attacks are okay, but we would lose too many of these types of creatures and, again, just die to Midnight Reaper. And And we certainly wouldn't be killing them off of that.
I've seen things that would break someone like you.
Let's put them down to 12 in deck. And note that we do have an answer to a Hydroid Krasis on board, so we're not going to die to the big flyer. Let's see, what can we get back with our Memorial to Folly? Nothing good? Nothing that matters? That's unfortunate. Maybe we should be trying to get some of these dead? Okay. They have seen their likely win condition, and they are playing around losing to that fact, so... Woohoo! Oh yeah, yeah, we're dead. I just want to see it happen, which is why I'm letting this go, but... Oh man, is that exactly 7 triggers too? No, I think this is 8. Okay, that was an unfortunate way for that game to go. I don't think I have ever lost a mid-range mirror to decking before. I've probably lost control mirrors that way, but never a mid-range one. So that sucks. Alright, so Vraska's Contempt, very good. Kinda want to play some Negates. They had a lot of Planeswalkers. And Carnage Tyrant, good as always. What is bad? Probably Cast Down. We don't need to be trading 1-for-1 with individual creatures. I'm always torn on whether or not I'm supposed to cut Llanowar Elves in this matchup in the mirror, because on one hand, this is the least value creature in our deck, and it quickly becomes invalidated as far as being a creature. But like sometimes you play a turn 3 Vivien Reid and just win the game very easily, so maybe I trim a couple. And I'm gonna cut a Midnight Reaper. We've got a lot of card draw in now, and that killed us last game, so. And mostly I don't know what else is worse. I could see arguments for like cutting Wildgrowth Walkers, but again, similar to Llanowar Elves, these are your easiest way to steal a game. Like, a lot of times in the mirror, like, one person has a bunch of Explore creatures, and the other person has a Wildgrowth Walker plus a bunch of Explore creatures, and the person with the 6/8 Wildgrowth Walker wins. Hand's great. Need to find some black mana for this Vraska's Contempt, but we have a card that is good at helping us do that. And yeah, like, early creatures plus a Vivien Reid is one of the easiest ways to get an insurmountable lead in this matchup. Woodland Cemetery, sweet. Gonna play that out so we can Vraska's Contempt next turn if we have to. Okay. We are up 2 cards, but have the weakest version of this creature. Mixed Blessing. Yeah, I might just Contempt this. Nope, I will do that instead. Much better. I wouldn't Contempt, like, any other creature that could come down this early, because we only have access to 3 of these. Very precious resource, but as I mentioned, this card can easily run away with the game and bury you. So yeah, feeling good about this game. We're ahead on board, way ahead on mana, because we're on the play and had a Llanowar Elves, and Vivien is about to run away with this game. Hey, Carnage Tyrant. That looks like a good card to play next turn. No attacks, we just want to keep her safe. In addition to burying them in cards, she threatens to ult pretty fast, and that's basically impossible to come back from. See if they kill her here. Okay. They burned one of their Vraska's Contempts, and we got a giant lizard out of the deal, so. Now we say, can you answer this? The answer is probably no. Like, even if they have a bunch of Explore creatures to pump this up, we can just kill the Walker and then murder them with this. He is big and scary. Now the question comes, do we Finality? Because if they don't have, or if they've got like a Jadelight Ranger, Finality is about to become a lot worse. Yeah, I bet. Basically, if we Finality now, we kind of lose to the Eldest Reborn. But that card has fallen out of favor a lot lately, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're not playing it, and even if they're playing it, it's like 1 in their 60 cards, and if they don't have it... Also, they missed a land drop, so they wouldn't be able to do it immediately. I'm gonna go for this play. Take action, put them there. We each lost 3 creatures, but mine already did its work accelerating, drew 2 cards, and killed an opposing creature. Yeah, Yeah. So, that is a good example of why you shouldn't cut Llanowar Elves, because we just ran away with the game off of it. So, maybe on the draw I need these negates a little more. Maybe I'm supposed to leave all 4 Llanowar Elves in on the play, but not the draw, where I'm going to be playing more defensively. I could see that being correct. I've always found, like, sideboarding differently on the play or the draw to be extremely difficult, because it's also difficult to tell off of individual games whether or not that's the right idea, because, like, I don't know, if I'm on the play but my first land is Memorial to Folly, then I'm, like, sort of on the draw anyway. So do I keep this? I have a lot of green sources in my deck, and 1 green source gets me going, and this will keep me alive. This hand loses to an opposing creature draw too badly. Find a 4th land eventually, and we already have double black. This hand needs a little help. Would love to draw a 2-drop of some sort. Wildgrowth Walker, sure. Be able to kill that eventually. Hopefully it hasn't done too much damage by then. Oh yeah, another reason Midnight Reaper is good is in matchups where you expect to stall out the board and then Finality, because then you get to draw a whole bunch of cards. And presumably they do not. Alright, we're under the gun here. Okay, they double kept that. I would suspect that they have land Branchwalker in hand, and they're just going to go all in on trying to go off with this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to minimize the damage by Midnight Reapering. This way, Midnight Reaper is guaranteed to be able to trade here and just put me up a card, and then next turn I can Chupacabra down the Wildgrowth Walker. Take a lot of damage, but I'll be pretty ahead on resources, so... Oh, that's real unfortunate. Now we're taking much more damage than I would like, although this is a good draw. Yeah. It's a really good thing I didn't keep that other hand. That would have... And this is exactly why. Like, these Sultai decks, if they draw a Wildgrowth Walker, are really good at just being an aggro deck, just curving out and smashing you. Llanowar Elves, that is what I like to see. This card is totally irrelevant at this point. Block like this, get that off the table. Getting low, but unless they have something good, we're gonna stabilize here with our own Chupacabra. That's a good draw. Would really like to find like a Wildgrowth Walker of our own. 4 is not really enough life. Once these boards start to stabilize, you don't usually take damage, but like all it takes is for them to play blue land Krasis here, and then suddenly they've got a lethal threat in the air. But that said, even though the life totals don't reflect that, I think we're quite ahead right now. Yep, sure. So, what do I do here? I could find back these 2, although I don't really want a Midnight Reaper at this point. I could just play Breeding Pool tapped and look to Contempt this. I think that's what I'm interested in. I could try to get this down, but then we're just chumping, which is pretty whatever. Actually, I like this because it preserves our access to Vraska's Contempt. We get to keep this card. definitely put that in the graveyard. And then next turn, what we can do is we can chump here, find back double Chupacabra, and play one. So this has the potential to go poorly for us, but I think they're mostly just flooded out at this point. That is a scary card and makes me very glad that I kept Vraska's Contempt around. Okay, they did not do that. So, I think... Ugh. I really don't want to find back these two, but I think I have to. No, I don't have to. I can play my Giant Lizard. Now, just playing Vivien isn't really good, because we can, yeah. I suspect that their last card in hand is a Hydroid Krasis. That's one of the only cards that they wouldn't have found a way to play at this point, because they don't have access to blue. They still don't have blue. So, I think I'm just going to Contempt Vivien. And actually, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to find, and even though I was just shit-talking Llanowar Elves a little while ago, I'm going to go ahead and play one. Now that I have a Vivien, the cards are really going to start flowing, and I want enough mana to do whatever I want, so... This game is on a razor's edge, because we're really low, so at any point they can just kind of kill us if they do something good, but aside from that, I think we're very far ahead. Yep, like this is the most mediocre Chupacabra ever. Let's go ahead and play Vivien.
No one knows the wilds like I do.
I guess I just play Branchwalker to get more bodies down. I think this turn, though, I'm actually going to Chupacabra and kill this Wildgrowth Walker. Just need to shut this down. Don't want them to gain up to like 70 health. No attacks. So they have a few turns to find an answer to Vivien Reid, or she's gonna ult and win the game. Looks like they already have one. I suppose this is another card they could have been sitting on instead of Krasis. Oh, that's actually a pretty good draw. A lot of their scariest cards I am insulated against now. No attacks. If we can get rid of like this, like if we draw a Chupacabra or something, then we can start beating down with the Carnage Tyrant. Until then, though, we're kind of just in trouble. Well, we're gonna keep playing our cards. This game still just on a knife edge. If we draw a Hydroid Krasis before they do, I think we'll probably just run away with it. Oh god. Okay. Them binning that, I really think this card is a Hydroid Krasis. Oh my gosh. Oh, please, just let us draw something good before they draw a blue source to... Oh god, no. Please, no. This would be such an awful way to lose this game. Where we were, like, really ahead. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're dead. Oh, please. Come on! God damn it. Okay. That is how the Sultai mirrors go sometimes. Sometimes they just draw what they need before you do. A lot of people don't like mid-range mirrors because they often turn into stupid top deck wars like that. Like, neither of us made a decision for like those last 5 turns, but I drew a card that's situational and bad there, and a bunch of lands, and they finally drew what they needed. Anywho, 2-1, not awful. I'm going to continue grinding ladder with this deck because I think it's really, really good. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, I would love it if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel. Helps you see all of the videos we post, as well as helps other people to find the stuff. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.